Okay, here we go. So I'm not waiting to Dunbar gets here. I'll let you guys talk about your thinking behind this process. I'm excited about it. I just want to hear it organically.
What we realized is when we were working on Datafy, and when we wrote a business model canvas,
yes,
it became really clear what value we were offering and where it was taking us.
Okay. So you're saying from a startup business perspective, this is a good process to go through.
Yes.
As it relates to anyone starting a business.
Absolutely.
It's a very structured way to think about
Okay.
how you create value and deliver it.
Okay.
It's a very good structured discipline way. That's what we believe, yeah.
And so it compartmentalizes thought.
Yeah.
And then does it provide flow? Is that what you're saying?
It's all interconnected. I'm going to explain how the parts interconnect and why they're put where they are.
You want to explain that? This is a really lovely video that shows how the car driving. I think that'll be better to show Dr. P. It'll be like 30 seconds.
Well, actually, not only that, but that's the type of stuff I want you guys adding to your blog posts. And if you have links to things like that, then that's what you should be linking to it. So again, we're building content as we go. And also, I got a chance to speak with Anthony Frazier from the Fat Startup.
Yeah.
So he wants to reconnect with you guys too. And we talked about, the technology collapse that happened when we tried to bring him in. And he said he actually was having issues, so it wasn't on our end, he said it was on his end totally.
Mm-hmm.
And he's been trying to work that out in terms of making certain that his back end is more reliable in the future in terms of doing Skypes or hacks or whatever the case is. So our situation was not unique.
I see.
It's something that he has been experiencing thus far. So tell me what y'all been doing, man, since I've been seeing you since in about a week.
Professor, honestly, we really he's been on a hike thinking about our startup.
That's excellent.
And we are so passionate about it. Like right now, I feel like a soldier fighting,
Yes.
and I'm not going to quit till I win the war.
Right.
Because it's a really new field, the Internet of Things.
Yes.
It's an incredibly new field,
Mm-hmm.
and we have so many advantages because people haven't figured everything out.
Okay, well, one of the things that I've been thinking about for you guys that kind of brought to light is this whole issue around, I don't know call it link too, is this whole issue around cybersecurity.
Yeah.
Okay, and it just seems like more and more, I mean, particularly we're seeing with this argument that Apple and the government's having about access to people's devices is coming, it's coming to a head, I think, in many different ways. And I think it's important that folks really understand the implications of the type of world we live in now and people having full access to your world and what it looks like. What are your thoughts and your positions on where Apple is at with that?
I think we are we are solving that issue very well with edge analytics.
Okay.
So what happens is that the main processing
Yeah.
happens on the machine itself,
Okay.
not on the cloud.
Right. Okay.
So sensitive information always stays in your office.
Yes.
It never leaves it.
Okay.
Only the information that's relevant to the cloud
Yeah.
will go to the cloud.
Okay. So you're saying that
Everything will be anonymous.
yeah.
Things will not be anonymous in the edge analytics system,
Yeah.
but that will be protected with a layer of hardware cryptography.
Okay. And so you're saying that it's more important that you're saying as a computer scientist
Yes.
that you have great concerns about the security of the cloud.
Yes. Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
And it's kind of interesting to me. I've always thought the same thing too.
Yeah.
Because it's like if you're sending your information, as soon as that goes out, somebody else controls your life.
Have you ever read the Google terms and conditions?
No.
I strongly suggest you read
Okay.
it. You leave Google tomorrow.
Wow. They have full access to your
Full
stuff?
access to your passwords, full access to your credit card information. They can do what they want with it.
Right.
Just read the privacy policies.
Right.
Before we just press OK without reading it.
Right. Well, that's right.
We read it. It's scary shit. It's scary stuff.
Yeah.
And with the Internet of Things, with 50 billion devices being connected to the thing, they will know when you flush your bathroom.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
So with edge analytics,
Yeah.
that's a pivotal. Now, edge analytics makes everything scalable as well.
Okay.
Now, with Internet of Things, we have video cameras, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of information. Now, and a video is a lot of information. It's so much information that when we send satellites to space to get information from planets, we have to reduce the dimensions of the video and send it back because it's expensive to send it back. Video is expensive. Images are expensive.
Okay.
Uploading full-length videos for like days will take terabytes and terabytes of just memory and another terabytes of processing.
Okay.
So that's incredibly expensive.
Sure.
So with edge analytics, we will only send information that is relevant. So only relevant information. What do you really want to extract from the video? We extract it at the base level and only send back information to the cloud.
The thing that's most congruent to what you need it for.
So it's the most scalable platform that we can that anyone can come up with.
Okay.
And now it's compatible with Zigbee, with Z-Waves, with Bluetooth, with Wi-Fi.
But how do you go against? So basically, are you conscious about what Google has a position to do, and so you surf or you expose yourself knowing that you're at risk, and so you calculate the risk.
Yeah.
Or do you just how do you not use it? Because whether it's Google or Bing or whatever browsing system, somebody's gonna control your data and have access to your life.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, or you don't be on you be off the grid. You know.
No, is there a way around it?
Right.
No, there's no way around it.
Right.
There's Peter.
You have to be off the grid.
No, you will have to. People will know about you.
Yeah.
Now the only thing that's protecting is legalities. Now Google cannot share your information.
Right.
It says it can access it has all rights to the information that you give it. But now in its policies, it says that what we do with the data, we won't tell you, but we won't give this data to someone else. They say one of the policies says that. But what like the Apple thing. But Apple employees and Google employees can look at your data and do whatever the hell they want with it.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely.
You know, and there's no legal system protecting it.
Because we willingly give it to them for free.
Yeah, but we think twice before giving it to a startup, which is providing a lot more security than them.
Right.
Because there are two bunch of college students. You know, that's the most idiotic thinking.
Well, the thing about it, at one time, Google were just college students, right? Wasn't there some guys?
Yeah.
Basically, it was you guys. 30 years ago.
You know what was hilarious?
But you know what I mean.
You know what was hilarious? I was talking to my father, and my father is this really pessimistic person.
Yeah.
He's a business owner. He's really optimistic at heart, but he likes to play the devil's advocate, and he doesn't know much about the history of Apple and all these companies.
Yeah.
So I was talking about why our idea will be the next big thing, and you know about this incredible research. I didn't sleep yesterday. I was just researching because I was so madly in love with IoT, because it's a booming field, IoE. And I was talking to my father, and my father was like, Ashu, do you really think Apple could be built by two students in a garage? That was the most ironic statement. I'm like, because it was built by it.
Right.
He's like, think about it. You think Jobs was not an engineer? You think they could create? I'm sure Jobs was an engineer. I'm like, Dad, look up his story sometime.
Right.
No, it was two college students in a garage.
Right. Exactly.
That's now $100 trillion company.
Right. So that's why, when I think about you guys, I say Steve Jobs was actually an era years ago. All these companies that are the Silicon Valley, that are Silicon Valley rooted now, found a lot of their passion, or maybe already had a passion, went into the university system, got frustrated with the system, left the system.
Oh my God.
And started on their own because the system was too stifling and too restricting. And so they need, in order for it to grow a business, you really need flex and free form in order to be able to be nimble and agile. And I think we're going to find that out more and more as a startup when we start looking at it.
Yeah, I'm actually dating someone who's her idea got approved by Gozat.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
She's working on a robotics
Okay.
thing, and she's really stifled by it.
Mm-hmm.
Allison is a friend of mine too.
Okay.
She was saying that she was pretty stifled by it as well.
Really?
And so
I thought you were talking about dating Allison. I'm like,
There's also there's something coming up for that they want to showcase startups. I actually got the email today. I'm going to read it later this evening and get that out to you guys. But I want our class to figure out everybody should be presenting their businesses and business ideas, which is where we present. I think it's some sort of poster session or something like that.
did you read my idea on the blog post?
Which one?
My idea was the one for, it's kind of quad day for TEC.
When did you see? Was this
I
a
posted
recent blog?
I posted
On
like,
spring break?
no, like right before, like I posted like right before class started on that Wednesday, I think.
On the very first day of class, did you say?
So like the Wednesday before spring break.
Oh, right before spring break. If I did, I glanced through it, but I need to go at it again.
Because it's kind of like that idea, like a startup showcase, but more just for TEC in general. So having TEC take over the quad for a day and have different exhibitions. So like TEC wants to showcase itself more. Like they want to have more student awareness of TEC that's not just for engineering students. That's available to everybody on campus.
To me, I think that's one of the, and I share this with Jed Taylor, that I think that TEC is still very isolated. You know,
it is isolated.
It's very stifling as well.
You know, and so with that being said, there needs to be more of an effort to, and they want to be span across campus, but there are other entrepreneur-oriented groups, or the College of Business has, the Entrepreneurship Center, and so you have some different groups that are doing this. Professor Dunbar can.
All right. Let me show you why the business model canvas.
Okay.
All right. This is our thinking behind it.
By the way, I'm going to post this link to this website on our page, on this Hangout page, as a resource. So.
The key resources or key activities you require to create value, the key partners, and the cost structure of a business model. But it's not sufficient to just enumerate the 9 building blocks. What you really want to do is to map them out on a pre-structured canvas. This is what we call the business model canvas, the tool that helps you map, discuss, design, and blend new business models. Let's briefly go through the 9 building blocks, starting with the customer segments. These are all the people or organizations for which you're creating value. This includes simple users and paying customers. For each segment, you have a specific value proposition. These are the bundles of products and services that create value for your customers. Channels describe through which touchpoints you're interacting with customers and delivering value.
So channels how you deliver value to customers.
Customer relationships outline the type of relationship you're establishing with customers. The revenue streams make clear how and through which pricing mechanisms your business model is capturing value. Then you need to describe the infrastructure to create, deliver, and capture value. The key resources show which assets are indispensable in your business model. Key activities show which things you really need to be able to perform well. The key partners show who can help you leverage your business model, since you won't need all key resources yourself, nor will you perform all key activities. Then once you understand your business model's infrastructure, you'll also have an idea of its cost structure. So with the business model canvas, you can map out your entire business model in one image. This works for starting entrepreneurs just as well as for the most senior executives.
That's what's important, because this will help us think about the class as a business. It's going to help you think of the class as a business.
Well, remember from day one, I said, think of the class as a startup. That's how we're doing the class. It's all these pieces. So I'm glad that's a very important piece. We need to provide a link to that thing.
I can send you the link.
Yeah.
I'll send it to you on Facebook.
Okay. And let's see.
An organization.
Okay.
Here, I'm just going to bring up our business model so we can show them what ours is.
Yeah.
For example.
So yeah, so what I want to do, and I think maybe this might be something that everyone's that's doing.
Need to change that, by the way, for
That's
compatibility
doing
and
this.
scalability.
I think that for each class, I think for class,
Right.
I'm thinking that I want everyone, Giannis and
Right.
along them to have, if they haven't done this, this might be a good exercise for everyone to do.
For their own startup.
For their own startups, yeah, absolutely.
So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So here's what I'm thinking for today.
If they haven't done that, then that's really sad.
Yeah, or they may not know, and so, or maybe they do know. I don't know, but we'll
Right.
find out. But I want our hack today to be this, okay, within the context of you guys thinking about this class as customers.
right.
Gotcha.
We're the customer.
Okay, let's do it.
All right. So real quick, let's go through our business model just to show you
Okay.
how it works a little bit.
Okay.
So the
Okay. Why don't you keep that open, and I want you to demonstrate it here on the wall because remember we got the camera.
all
on,
right. Okay.
And so
All right.
hopefully
You know
understand how
what?
it works.
Go with the thing. And explain it.
Let me get a coffee refill,
Sure.
and then we'll be ready to roll.
Yeah. Sure.
You know.
I think we should just add the value proposition.
We don't have to do it right now.
No, we don't have to do that right now. I'm just saying.
Yeah, of course, scalability.
Scalability should be there. But yeah.
Okay.
We can do this video 100 more. I'll keep my watch on the business move and this.
I got it. Okay.
Hey, okay. How you doing?
All right, so the core of the business model is the value proposition. That's
Okay.
why it's front center, because everything revolves around the value you create. It doesn't matter what you make so much as the value that what you make gives. So it doesn't matter that you have a laptop
Okay.
to view the internet. If there's a better way to view the internet, it wouldn't matter that if your laptop. The value is being able to access the internet. So
So let's put that within comparison, just so to make the connection. So if the value is having access to internet, it doesn't matter if it's, you're saying if it's our smartphone
or a tablet.
or tablet.
It's just the value.
Okay, but is the tool itself is the tool itself what's the way the site says, maybe a necessary for the value proposition?
Yeah, it's necessary. So you
Okay.
need to create something
Gotcha.
to deliver value.
Okay,
But it doesn't really matter so much what you create as long as you deliver that value.
gotcha.
That's priority
So-
number one.
And that's with the channels.
Okay.
So like this doesn't focus, business model doesn't focus so much on the product like a Mac, more so than that. So for us, our value proposition is mainly scalability.
So now as you're teaching this, here's what I want you to do. I want you to talk about this within the context of your business, but then say, okay, for our business, for Datafy, our value proposition is this. So in retrospect, we think for this class, the value proposition, so we can see
I can.
the
I see.
interchange.
I see. We
Okay?
can do that.
And then, but let's write it too, so we can make the connection.
Sure. So let's have one section for Datafy,
Okay.
and let's have one section for how that.
We don't even have to put Datafy on there.
We don't.
No, because you're gonna have it right there.
Okay.
So
Change around things.
So the value proposition is the core of what you are offering to
Gotcha.
your product or service,
Okay.
or in this case, our classroom.
Okay.
So for Datafy, what we do is we offer scalability. So we allow you to collect data from the Internet of Things through all these different standards, and you're able to scale it up to very large levels.
Okay.
So then, in terms of the class, the value would be, well, what would the value be? So what are we offering to our students?
Right. Okay, so let me go backwards because I want to do something. Okay, so you said value proposition for Datafy is to be a device or a company that focuses on the Internet of Things.
Mhm.
So, and we know that the Internet of Things is something that's steadily growing.
Yes.
So you're saying that you're trying to position Datify to be a little bit ahead of the curve in terms of readying the world for this whole idea of these multitude of devices that will be collecting your data and then upscaling that information, upselling it to, or upscaling it to.
It's a backbone. It's the backbone
Okay.
of the IoE. So every sensor out in the world can be, different sensors use different
Absolutely.
communication. Some use Bluetooth, some use Wi-Fi, some use Zigbee, some use Z-Waves, some use radio waves, called Insteon.
Okay.
All right. And what our platform is, so that there will be other platforms saying only for Insteon.
Okay.
So all Insteon sensors can, there's going to be a platform. There's going to be a platform for only Z-Waves and Zigbee. So there's not going to be one platform that captures everything.
Okay, you guys want to be the cap one?
Want everything. We want to capture everything. Because then we can make interconnections.
So my question to you right now, do you have does Datify have the capability of doing that right now?
Absolutely.
Okay, all right. So that's the value in the Datify product, is that am I correct?
Yes.
Is that you guys are doing something very different than what other companies are doing within the context of capturing data across multiple
Because
platforms.
people are thinking about capturing data that they produce themselves.
Okay.
So like, we saw this one company, they make all their own sensors that all use the Zigbee protocol.
Okay.
And what they do is they put it around the offices, but their platform is only useful with their own products.
Gotcha.
So if you wanted to use they don't make smart light bulbs.
Okay.
If they wanted to add smart light bulbs, you would have to create a whole different system because it isn't one of their product offerings.
Okay, gotcha. Okay.
Also, just a really simple example. If you're on AT&T and you want to call someone on T-Mobile, you can call, right?
Right.
How frustrating would it be if you could only call AT&T people from AT&T phones and T-Mobile can't call you?
Gotcha.
You know?
Yep, totally.
So we are providing that value. That
You're making it make something that is accessible cross-platform.
Cross-platform.
Yes.
Exactly. So we're providing a cross-platform solution.
Okay. All right. So now that within the context of the class, so we're saying the value of hip hop entrepreneurship as a course is
So it's the value to students.
value to students. Okay. So we're focusing on that. We're focusing on. So we want this class to be solely focused on students that either already have a tech startup or is interested in starting one. Okay, that's the value. So the content. So it's the ability to be multi. So, but here's the thing. You have classes that are focused on social entrepreneurship, business. This is tech entrepreneurship, right? And so we're saying within the context of tech entrepreneurship that we want this course to focus on specifically students that either already have a company, business,
already have a company,
or have an idea,
right,
for a company or a business,
right,
and they are interested in looking at how individuals that are hip hop cultural industrialists is what I call them. Hip hop cultural industrialists, right? How they found success is what we're saying.
right.
And can we use their principles? Can their principles be used to help develop their idea for a startup or to take their startup to the next level? Is that correct?
Right.
Okay.
Right. So
that is my question is that since you guys have stepped in this class, has that happened?
it's definitely influenced us.
Okay, gotcha.
But to be honest, personally, this is my personal, the ghetto genius of that part of the class has affected me a lot more than the hip hop part.
Okay. Well, but the ghetto genius part is the hip hop part.
Yeah, it's interrelated.
They're not separate.
I know, and I have a hard time grasping that.
Right, yeah. I'll always remember that hip hop started in the hood and in the ghetto.
Yeah.
Just all you got to remember. And that's and because of that,
I see.
the premise of that is ghetto genius.
I see.
Because you're not supposed to fight to survive the ghetto, right?
Right. Because I feel like our startup started from the ghetto as well.
Right. Well, the
From the
principles.
streets.
Well, the principles of it. But remember, you both have told me that you're from privileged backgrounds.
But our startup is not.
Our startup is not. But you even said yourself. Here's the difference. You even said yourself though that if this didn't go the way that I wanted to, I still have a privileged background where I can go work in my family companies, right?
Not really.
But you have the option. these folks that are coming from spaces where there's no options, where some of them don't even have houses. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Where they are truly, we're talking about even though municipal resources. We're talking about the grunge, if you will. The spirit, now, listen, the spirit of it. Now what it is, of course, is this multi-billion-dollar company, but still, from an intellectual and creative properties perspective, many of the artists that create the art do not own the business. And so they're still not seeing proceeds from their intellectual properties, okay? So let's continue. And you guys, since you have demonstrated since you've come into this class that you have some knowledge about the law associated with intellectual properties and protecting yourselves in some capacity because you have access to resources. You gotta remember a lot of these folks don't have access to resources. They didn't go to the school to even get introduced to it at all, okay? So let's continue to keep it in context, right?
So I think then we need to really focus on this area.
Yeah, keep going for the voice. Dunbar. Hello? I think it's probably just called me. Keep talking.
Okay, so what other value do we offer?
So we're talking value to students. Oh, there it is. Hold on. Do one way.
All right.
Yeah, cross protocol platform is a good word.
Go ahead. What's going on? You good? You be good here. Okay. We just started our business candidate model. Hold on, man. How you doing? All right, good to see you again. Fingers like a mom. No, I need to work on it. Come on in and grab a seat. I'll be Professor Dunbar and his son.
How you guys?
Pretty good. Ashwin, nice to meet you.
My pleasure. Eric, my pleasure.
Ashwin, nice to meet you.
Carabo?
Yeah.
Eric.
This is where it all happens.
Yep, go ahead and have a seat. We got a Google Hangout. We're recording this session right now.
Okay.
Oh, you're fine. No, this is how we do it. We capture the classes and then automatically go to YouTube. And so we have the technology reference right there, right? So get your stuff coming. You want some coffee, anything?
No, I'm good, man.
You want something to drink, water, a pump, like some soda or something? You sure?
No, I'm good.
Okay, but you've been in here around here before, so you know how to get around.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so you're good. Okay, so tell Professor Dunbar and
Catch them up along with you.
yeah, catch him up. Yep.
All right. So right now what we're doing is we're thinking about this class, the Hip Hop Entrepreneurship class, through a business model. So we're treating this like it's a startup. We want to really think about how we create value for our customers, aka students, and how we can best deliver that value to them. And we think that this will be a good structure to use to start to lay out these thoughts. So far what we've done is we've defined our customers as students that either own a startup currently or students that have an idea for a startup and they haven't really got the ball rolling yet. So the value that we offer these people is a chance to further develop their idea or startup. And that's currently where we are right now.
And let's go down a little deeper, because we're having this conversation about this idea of the ghetto genius paradigm, which Professor Dunbar has been working with me right on that within that context as well. So what we're saying is that if someone either owns a startup, as such as you guys do, or have an idea for a startup, what I'm suggesting is that, hey, there's value in the efforts of hip hop cultural industrialists as it relates to their successes. That's something you guys should pay attention to. If you have a startup or have an idea for a startup. Does that make sense within the context of the value proposition? Okay, right, okay. All right, so we want to, let's write that script in there. Value proposition within the context of hip hop entrepreneurship, okay? Yes. Because I think when we before break, we talked about what would be the limitations in terms of what if someone says, well, you know, I'm not into hip hop, so why would the class do me any good? And so are we saying that we're not really targeting them? We really want to focus on the students that really understand the possibilities and have seen the value, because again, it goes back to valuing and recognizing the value of a Jay-Z, a Russell Simmons, a P. Diddy, all as moguls within the context of very successful individuals that are in business, that are doing Dr. Dre. These are the individuals that are out here doing the work, demonstrating success, and that there's something to learn from their efforts. That's what we're suggesting, right? And so our spiel is that we are only interested, we're only interested in the student class, only target students that are interested and recognize that as genius. Because and let me tell you why. Because Jed Taylor said that when they passed the BS degree in technology entrepreneurship in the College of Engineering, so you can get a dual degree if you get just passed.
In
So,
innovation and leadership engineering.
Leadership engineering, and they said want to have a strand of hip hop in, i.e., these classes, right? So for me, it's like they said, but one of the we got some pushback in the Senate when somebody stand up and said they have silly classes named like this in here, Hip Hop Entrepreneurship. Why should they be getting degree offerings when they offering classes like that make no sense? Well, I told Jed, I said, well, that guy will work for Russell Simmons and work for folks that come through our classes. That's the pushback. So here's someone that don't see value in it, that's suggesting that it's not worthy. And there are others that are out there like that. He just happened to voice it. And so do you give a damn about that? And because again, all businesses don't serve everybody anyway. So we can't be creating a model where we think the course is supposed to serve everybody. You end up serving nobody. So do we focus on those that say, look, I see value in hip hop. I see value in hip hop business. And so I want to understand how Russell did it. I want to understand how Dr. Dre did it. I want to understand how Missy Elliott did it. I want to understand how Leah Cohen did it. I want to understand. I want to understand how Nas did it. I want to understand. Is that what we're saying here?
I think that's part of it.
Is that the value in terms of if I walk up to Eric and I just like, look, you guys got a hot company, or better yet, you guys, or better yet, I'm sitting in a booth and I got my class and got the poster boards up. Okay, I gotta sell this to you guys. Okay, because my first thought, like, now, only way I probably would target you probably is if I think that you might be open to this idea of hip hop. Whereas you guys really took the course, you stepped to me and kind of found out you're a DJ, that's an electrical engineer, and Ashu is a computer scientist, that's a hip hop head. And so the combination of the two, when I think about it, you are not the common folk that I would think of within the context of who I would target for the class, but you're actually exactly who I was looking for.
Exactly. Professor, I'll tell you why.
Yes.
And this is one observation I made.
Okay.
Ghetto doesn't mean just coming from unprivileged background. You know why Eric and I are ghetto?
Why?
We are really ghetto actually.
Why?
Because we can't do a full-time job. My professor tells me I'm unemployable.
Okay.
My father says that I'm unemployable, not because I'm not intelligent or not hardworking, because I'm too intelligent and too hardworking, and so crazy about entrepreneurship that if I don't do entrepreneurship, I will die.
Okay.
So in a way, I come from a more unprivileged background than the folks you meet. Because if they don't get, if they don't start a company, they can work. Even if that's McDonald's or some place, I can't even do that. I will literally die
I'm
hungry.
going to have to disagree with you on that. They're not going to. That you'll find, and you can go talk to some folks that, like, for example, when I think about Ghetto and just some of the stories of more recent, I could take you on the block right now and you'll see tons of guys out there that are able-bodied that either have felony convictions, have no driver's license, have another thing that have locked them out of working opportunities within a traditional working situation. So I understand what you're saying within the context that you want to have kinship in that regards, but you cannot devalue spaces where people that don't have power have had their whole life situations upheavaled and removed and renewed within the context of profit for someone else. Okay, I call it the Trumpisms, right? And so we have to pay attention to that. That's very real in terms of then people being left without, with schools being removed, shut down, displaced, and what happens when people don't get full access to a great education, to get access to a seat to sit down at a University of Illinois. Like you told me, your dad sent you to the world's greatest institution in the world to get an engineering degree, as long as you can go there looking for a job. That's called privilege. Everybody don't get that opportunity, but you guys you weren't given those seats. You guys were prepared academically to be able to compete. That became from years of education and having access to quality education. Okay, so we can't dismiss. I don't want you guys ever dismissing the displacement that poor people have, right? And within the context of then finding their wherewithal to come out of that situation to make something of themselves.
I see.
I want to be clear that I do not endorse what he said.
Okay.
For myself.
Okay.
I do not consider myself ghetto.
Okay.
I come from a solid middle class family. I have access to resources and privilege that many people do not, and I understand that's why I am today.
Okay. Okay.
So that being said, I do empathize with it, and I really would like to find ways that we can make it better.
Okay.
So, and that's one of the main reasons why I took this class, is because I do realize that just because it's not a problem for me, doesn't mean it's not a problem for somebody else.
Gotcha.
Like when you see like the homeless people on Green Street, and say, oh, why are they homeless? Why can't they just get a job? Because like you said, they might have felony convictions, they might not have a driver's license, they might have mental illness, like they have all these reasons. And I understand that those reasons are reasons of disprivilege.
But are we talking, are we trying to get those people into class? Or are we trying to recruit more people?
So yeah, this is getting a little off topic. So to get more back on topic.
So if you're trying to recruit people like us, then you have to appeal to us. Depends. So what audience are you targeting? Are you targeting the unprivileged, or are you targeting people, students under your fund?
Here's something to think about. Well, again, there we go back to, since this class right now, we're talking about University of Illinois students, but we're talking about in terms of a model that this should be attractive to anyone, right? Because we're saying that we want folks that have an idea that because you're on a startup don't mean that you're university students. We're just saying that we're talking about students, and we're talking about students right now, right? Look at the board I shoot.
Yeah, I'm thinking, I'm sorry.
Right, remember? Remember, you and Eric put this up here, so we focus on students first.
Oh yeah, absolutely. No, I was just thinking that's how I just.
Right, so I want us to stay focused on students first.
Right.
In terms of that we're targeting for this class, in terms of enrollment next semester.
Right.
That how do we upsell this class to them?
Right.
So we're going to quad, and if you have, I want to hear ye. You have a startup, if you have an idea for a startup, then you need to be taking Hip Hop Mobile or something like that, right? Okay, and because here is what happens in this class, then come the testimonials from guys like you.
So you were talking earlier about how we delve into the history of hip hop business,
right?
How these people came to be moguls and what strategies they used to get there. So I would not say that it's so much more value. The value is being able to further develop your idea and startup, and then the channel is how you deliver this value through here over to the customers.
Gotcha. Okay.
So I think that one way you can further develop your idea is to be inspired by hip hop history.
Okay.
So the channel will be inspiration from hip hop history.
Okay.
Does that sound good to you?
Yeah, absolutely. Do we need to put an arrow or something that leads to say, okay, then it goes from here?
I don't think that's necessary.
Okay.
Hip hop history.
So what part of history is it that's going to be useful?
Okay, so then that varies. And so if we start like from the beginning, if we start looking at the beginning of hip hop, we immediately go to, okay, how did folks begin it's kind of like understanding how the culture was formed, right? Because because then that's when you start in a business, you want to understand, you want to say your consumer base. You want to know what they do. I mean, you got to do some data collection. You got to find out how they spend their money. Where do they eat? How do they sleep? When do they buy? When do they get paid? All this stuff that, what inspires them to move a particular way? What are these different things in terms of the background experiences that you need to know about a particular demographic that you're looking at in order to be able to connect with them, in order to offer them a service that can be monetized?
In the beginning, they had nothing to lose.
Right.
So there were no real risks involved in the beginning. They were just doing what they
were just doing participating in activities.
Right.
And so remember we talked about this whole idea of deindustrialization. And so we started talking about deindustrialization. We're talking about the actual collapse of structure, of social structures, meaning that if I'm deindustrializing, there's no money coming in because there's no jobs, which means that limited resources, people start scaling back on offerings. School after school program. the basketball program goes away, the music program goes away. All those things that, like I said, from a brother's background, that where structures and industry is taking place in a capitalist society, the resources are still being delved out in order for those things to survive. And so then people benefit from that. Well, in a sense of deindustrialization, those people still are in those same spaces. The activities and things that would provide them opportunity don't exist.
Right.
So what do? They don't stop playing. They just don't go to the playground inside the building anymore. Now the playing is on the outside, and as opposed to having a playground supervisor, the local DJ becomes the supervisor, because they're out there with the activity that then ultimately kind of sets the tone for things to exist. Play the right record, you start building community. People hear the music, they start coming. You kind of do different things. People didn't stop dancing because the gymnasium was closed. Well, we can get out. You say you can dance. Well, I can dance better than you, Eric. Show me what you got. Boom. Now they go to DJ. Now let me put on this hot record, because Jackson 5 just came out with this hot jam. And this one part of this song right here is going to make you move and shape a particular way. Let me see what you got. Because he said he better than you. But he ain't good, because I saw her do it like this over here. So now you got 3 people in the mix, right? So now we got community. And now folks will say, ooh, because then they bringing their friends. Then they gonna bring their friends. Then they feel that, ooh, y'all heard they got a dance contest going on.
So how can we make that
Okay,
value?
right.
Something with community, like a value would be
proposition.
community.
So right. So
Access to community, or
so the value proposition is
so like we can bring in these guest speakers and
right.
these people like Professor Dunbar.
Right.
Like we'll get people have
Yes,
access
so let's think about where we're at. We're in Pixel, and you guys have access to professionals.
Just access to community.
Yeah. Access, yes, to a tech community. Right.
Access to access to experience and expertise.
Okay. Access to expertise. You say experience and expertise?
Experience and expertise.
Okay. Oh, so experience. Okay. Experience and expertise. Okay. Gotcha.
Access to community.
Because you have an advantage over us. We have youth, but at the same time, you have more connections than we do, and more experience about how the world works. Like Professor Dunbar has more experience than us in just living life. And
I'm saying I'm considerably older.
Right.
So with that comes great experience that we can learn from, so that we don't make the same mistakes, or how we can omit mistakes and push the human race forward.
Okay. Love it. Okay. I love how this is forming.
So how do we bring in? So we have this value: access to community with experience and expertise. So what's our channel for that? So we have guest speakers.
Yeah.
Guest speakers.
We have professors.
Yes.
Interested.
Guest speakers. Field trips. You know, so immersion, excursions, and then with our guest speakers, we would consider like having Anthony Fraser from the Fat Startup Online chime in. Would that be a guest speaker, or would that be
Conference calls.
Conference calls.
Yeah.
Conference calls with entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
Professor, I really think we should also expand towards more towards Bay Areas and East Coast, more connections towards there. Because in cornfields, as Laurie said, when we had the Korean cafe thing, that the community in Champaign is mature. The startup community it's mature.
Yes.
And hence, with maturity, that's a good thing in ways, but it's also a bad thing in ways, because it's rigid. And students, by default, will have good ideas and disruptive ideas. You know, is that good or bad? No, it's neutral. It's the thing. You know, and that's just not very pally with the mature and rigid.
You say you need something. You're suggesting that you guys need to be part of a network that offers more flexibility.
More flexibility.
That's more nimble.
That's more nimble.
Yes.
It's more forgiving. And that's on the West Coast in New York, not in Champaign.
So the question is, does DAC have those connections?
Right. Some. Yeah.
Well, then we can expand from it.
And the other part of it is, if we don't have it, we go make it happen.
How do we make
Then
it happen?
we go make it happen. But that's something that we should
Like,
strive
for example, when I was out in New York, I had a conference call with Anthony Fraser when I was there, and we talked about an hour of him just bringing it up to speed on. He got his book out, and he's about to start a second book. He had a ton of resources, but the main thing is he's geeked about this class.
Absolutely.
You know, folks are really geeked about this class. So again, you know, this is great within the context of what we offer. We're suggesting that a key partner is tech.
UIUC as well, right?
I think the larger university, I think University of Illinois in general, because we're talking about a multidisciplinary approach to tech entrepreneurship, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then also our key partners, the tech business community. I mean, think about Research Park. I mean, University of Illinois, we can say that's in general.
Right, but yeah, we can put Research Park as well.
I think Research Park specifically, we need to put that down because even though we know that that's an amalgamation of body parts, the University of Illinois itself is, each one is still its own island, right? Each department, each college has its own culture and climate, and so we need to be aware of that.
Does this go into the course that people can take offline outside the university?
That's what we're suggesting, that like we're creating a model here that I think that when we start talking about the value of a hip hop mobile type course, that this is something that now folks are saying, well, why are you just tying it up at University of Illinois? This should be something that you should just offer across the board, and any university should be able to chime in and have a partnership with them to offer this content for them, and you stay neutral in the sense in order to be nimble. That's what you talked about, okay? So key partners also, I think, would be student organizations, because again, they're going to have a body. The value to them is they're going to have some of these folks that might have this idea or have an idea, okay? And that when we start thinking about fraternities, Professor Dunbar is in a fraternity. So when we start thinking about, you know, fraternities and their laws and how their cultures behind them, they think a particular way based on their charter and how it operates and how they do business. And so you'll want to be tied in to them, because how Kappas think is going to be totally different than how Sigmas think, you know. And so what they find value in may be totally different than what an AKA finds value in. And so we want to make certain that we start thinking about key partners, that student RSOs are a very necessary entity to tie into, specifically for the culture of their organizations and understanding that. Okay, then another partner I think is just the overall community that you're in general. You know, we can't dismiss that you have school districts, and when we start talking about even pipelining and opportunities there, that even teachers need to be thinking entrepreneurially as it relates to delivering content. You know, can't get so rote that they miss an opportunity to identify a potential hip hop entrepreneur that's in their class that may not have or may not be checking in with the way that they like we talked earlier about when your dad said, well, there's no way that Steve Jobs is not an engineer. Where the reality is he was an entrepreneur probably from the age of who knows how long, and then all of a sudden he got to a point where he got mature enough and old enough to finally break the chains and then become this budding individual that just blew the world up, and you know, within that context. We're suggesting, and what I'm suggesting is that creating a model like this, we begin having opportunity to identify revenue streams within the context of hip hop entrepreneurship through multiple fields. I know, and I'm kind of off because people say specific to students, but I think that this idea part ties into this, because we'll find ideas for a startup. That's teacher, the student might be at the College of Education, and they might be thinking about a new way to start schools, okay? And that could be tech related. And we want them to take this class because they need to be thinking with an engineering mind as it relates to building a business within the context of technology.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay. Right.
So,
Oh, and Professor Dunbar, please chime in anywhere where you see connections. Just throw it up
I
there.
think that goes into customer relationships.
Okay.
So how did you phrase it? Something like combining engineering with entrepreneurship.
Yeah, engineering with entrepreneurship or engineering with education. Like we know that is some cross-pollination going on here as relates to education, right?
So the relationships would be multidisciplinary.
Yeah. And remember, that was one of the things that one of the key partners, i.e. Tech, said they wanted to see happen with this class. They wanted to see it go across campus. But as I shared with them, that you guys are very isolated, and that the College of Engineering is one of these places that people don't know that you can take a class there without being an engineering major. You know, it's that it is very it's very exclusive, if you will.
Engineering?
Yes. It's not inclusive. It is exclusive. And then when you get inside the college itself, even the disciplines break down and get very different. Because I'm sure mechanical engineering is very different than computer science is. Okay.
Very different.
Yeah, we see problems in a different way too,
Okay.
which is awesome.
See. Okay. All right. So where are we at here? So now what? So where does key activities and key resources go? And so this is where Seth Fine, I think, comes in when he shows up, because one of the key activities we're suggesting, like for instance, one of the things that that to do from a business showcasing model, like for example, Datafy needs to be presented at the Ghetto Genius Tech Fest, right? But that'll be Ghetto Genius Tech Fest within the context of showcasing startup businesses, but that's an activity, okay? And the resource to make that happen will be a social setting like a nightclub. So going or going to spaces that are off the beaten path. Think about COZAD, not COZAD, but the CoLab over here in downtown Atlanta. You know, it's a space that is not on campus, that's downtown in the business district, that has partners, that all the partners we've talked about here, sharing in that space, but in a non-academic environment within the context of traditional academics,
Right.
in terms of a traditional campus experience, right? Their learning and their educating is happening in a space just like this, right?
Right.
We want to benefit from that.
Okay, so like competitions, different competitions, nightclubs, conferences.
Yep.
Okay.
Well, I think competitions would be an activity. I don't think competition. Well, actually, I think maybe it's blended.
I mean, there's so obviously some blend between all of this. Like it's not putting one thing in a box and having it only be in that box. But
Right.
it's just
Okay.
it doesn't have to be rigid structure.
Right.
This is meant to be a loose structure.
Okay, gotcha. Okay.
So like a key activity is something that you have to do very well to
Okay.
succeed.
Okay.
So for us, our key activities are data collection,
Okay.
data analysis, and data security.
Right.
So we
Okay.
have to collect the data, we have to analyze the data, and
Okay.
have to make sure that the data is kept secure.
Right. Okay.
So what key activities we have to do that are essential to us developing this value,
Right.
delivering this value?
Part of
We have
that
to get
is
asses and seats.
asses and seats. It's a key activity. Okay. And then quality construction, right? That's where the value piece comes in big time.
Construction and activities.
Yes. Yep. Okay, and let's put cost structures, let's put salaries, so you got instructional salaries, right?
Give me the rent. Okay, so professor's salary.
Well, put instructional, because it could be, that could be,
Does like
it could
does
be
Alvarez get paid? Like
well, obviously, again, he's part of Urban 4-H, that's a whole different division, so that's why I say let's put instructional salaries, right? And that could be involved with the TAs. Those are all costs that are going to be part of delivering this type of content.
what's the GA?
Yeah, GA, yeah. Then instructional salaries and instructional resources. Okay, so that means there could be tools. That means access to smart rooms, which there's a cost for that. For lecture or for discussion series or symposiums or whatever. All the things that will provide value to extend the experience.
So you guys are developing a class.
So what happens on Monday nights is the Ghetto Genius Hackathon. So right now we're hacking the class that we teach on Wednesday. I teach on Wednesdays,
Okay.
which is Hip Hop Entrepreneurship.
Okay.
And so for the fall, when we roll into this, we have a new model that we're putting in place that demonstrates how to do the class. So I shaped the class because it's never been taught before to be a startup. I said, let's treat the class like a startup. I have some general ideas of what I think is going to happen, but as you know in research, what you think, and then what happens when you get on site and begin, you start finalizing, oh, well, I expected this to happen, but that didn't happen, but this did happen. And that becomes the hard in terms of identifying what works. And so this semester has been defining and understanding the hard that's coming out of the experience, where we're strong, where we're weak, so on and so forth, how to do it, to do the things that we need to do to ultimately get asses and seats, and then in order to create revenue streams that will make this a continuum.
So now we have a business model canvas for the class.
Yes. Yep, I think so.
Yeah, I think you should take a photo of this.
Yeah, absolutely. So this activity now is something that every student that's in the class is going to have to do what we just did, because everybody in the class has either an idea for a startup or they already have one. And so, but we don't know if they've done this. If they haven't done this, this is what I want to see. This is something I want to see come up. This is what needs to come out of the class. This is something that is a plan for them to do their business.
This plan different from how traditional startups. I mean, we're talking these young hip hop guys. How is it different? Their approach different from the more traditional, or is it the same?
Well, I think that you're going to find some similarities, but obviously with Ashu and Eric, that they have training as university students, or maybe life experiences where they've gotten exposed to a resource that then introduced them to laying this thought process out for examining your business. Whereas someone that hasn't been to college or have access to folks that have had this experience will be basically winging it and trial and error. Now give them 5-10 years, then they probably could do something like this, but maybe not even as sophisticated as this, because we're talking about, you know, a trained way to look at to develop a business model based on research that has been tried and true. Okay.
I mean, the great thing about this is a resource for anybody. It's
Right.
a free resource
Exactly.
that anybody can do.
Right.
So you don't have to come from a privileged background to have this as a resource.
No, you don't.
You
But
just go to the internet.
You don't need the
But-
internet though.
well, hold on now. You don't have to come from a privileged background, but you have to have the training to know that it exists.
Right.
Right.
Okay,
true.
see, I want you guys to
No,
keep
I understand that.
remembering
I understand that.
that you guys have access to things that come second nature because it's always been in your world. But for somebody that's never had this and had the training, blows their way. Jay-Z didn't get this, right? He didn't get this on the block slinging dope. You feel me?
True.
So, but he's learned through trial and error, through business experience. Dr. Dre sure didn't get it, right? We know, didn't get that training. But through trial and error, he got some business experiences to be able to look at things. He now knows how to look at things. Now he would probably have access to something like this. But even the language itself is still something that may be very foreign to him within this particular business model concept. Not saying that it is, but when we start thinking about you guys are seniors in college, that you can lay this stuff, you're going to come out of college knowing how to do this. Okay?
Yep.
Based on being affiliated with the University of Illinois.
Yep.
I mean, this isn't
Access to opportunity. Yes.
This isn't really something they taught us in school.
Cool.
more than
We just
found
found it
on
by
our
ourselves.
own.
We just found
We
it by
understand.
ourselves.
I do understand what you're saying, though, that we have the mindset to explore and search out these
These
resources.
things that we know exist.
But let me say even more specific. You guys have been trained, have been provided an opportunity to be trained to know how to find
More
this particular
opportunities,
resource.
yeah.
Okay, that's what
I'm trying to get into the head of
Yeah.
The Dr. Dre
Yeah.
and those cats,
Yeah.
where there's certainly no formal training,
Sure.
but they figured out how to like you were describing earlier. Okay, we moved the
Yeah.
DJ booth to the playground,
Yes.
and then people were dancing and doing
Right.
other stuff. What was that? How do you coin, or how do you describe that sort of entrepreneur?
What it's interesting that you say that, and I'll just use my own experience, right? So when I was a junior in high school, I started DJing. Started my own DJing company. No, started my own DJing group.
Right.
We were getting paid to do gigs.
So you discovered something that would pay you.
But we didn't necessarily
You
do
start
it.
out that way.
Yeah, we necessarily wasn't doing it for the pay. We were doing it for the props. It was nice to get paid, but it was more the resource and the value was in having the social juice in the school. Again, if you had the best equipment and then you got a chance to showcase your equipment, then you became top DJ, and which gave you top props, which means you got the girls, right? So I didn't recognize that it was a small business until I started, and still didn't kind of recognize it then when I was just doing parties after I graduated from high school, doing parties, but really just partying and then maybe getting some money. Lori just reminded me just last week or when we was in New York that, Reese, don't you remember that you were paying my rent when my parents had left or her dad had died and her mom had moved away? She was here about to go to school and she had her own apartment. She was 17 years old, right? I didn't have a job, but I was DJing and had a DJ gig, so I would throw parties, i.e. rent parties. Still not equating that as a business. Definitely not thinking none of this. But knew that we needed to promote the party, right? We had to get people there, and then we had to charge a fee where we could make some money. And then I had a partner, so I had to split the money. So, but nobody said that, hey, you guys got a small business here. You guys got a DJ business. It could generate this if you do X, Y, and Z. So it was all trial and error. Now, fast forward 25 years, now I know exactly what that was. That's why I can talk it now and share it with Ashu and Eric and you, Karabu, and say, hey, if you're doing a party, here's what you need to be thinking about because you can do X, Y, and Z. So I don't know if that.
Yeah, it did.
Okay.
It did.
Okay.
It did.
Okay. So we got a picture of this. You guys take a picture of this?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. All right, let's get this and let's hack your stuff.
Yep.
So tell Professor Dunbar what you guys are about to do, so he'll understand what we're doing.
Professor Dunbar, are you familiar with the IoT, Internet of Things? So it's this movement.
It's crazy.
It is this movement where 50 billion devices will be connected to the internet. So things like your light bulb or your refrigerator, everything will be connected to the internet.
Hold on, let me ask one question. Karabu, have you heard of the Internet of Things? Okay, so now we got, in a family of folks that have access to resources,
Right.
okay, that language is still not transferring.
Right.
Okay, so now I just wanted to put that in there.
Absolutely. No, that's great. That's right. So,
So basically what we're doing is we're offering the most effective way to collect the data from all these different sources. So there's lots of different ways that you can collect the data. So like the two most well-known are Bluetooth and Wi-Fi. There's so many more than that.
I gotta stop you guys again. Okay. Professor Dunbar and Karabu about take Google, use an example of like Google or Bing that, okay, we have a browser that takes your data.
right.
And you just told me
Right.
that, do you ever read the fine print on what you agreed to when you sign on? If you haven't, then what they just explained to me, like, and I kind of softly talking about with Facebook. Like every time we put a picture up there, send a note, anything, somebody's getting paid. And it's not us, right? And so who gets to determine their data? That is your information. And when you use their platform, you've given them right to have access. So when you think about when you add an app to your phone, it asks you for access to your phone, your contacts, your camera, and I'm like, why do you need access to my camera? Why do you need access to my, what are you doing that you need access to my photos? Where do you need access to my location? Because they're collecting your data and then they're purposing it. So I just wanted to put that out there and give it some context. now relate the Internet of Things to
I see.
that. Okay.
So we're creating a platform to collect all this information. So there will be very soon there will be sensors in your shoes, which are going to tell how many steps you walked or how much weight you exerted on your shoes, and how is that for your feet. And it's a big market, and it can provide tremendous value. We can see connections that we can create new experiences that were not possible. Like you can combine a camera, a sensor for smell, which they've developed, and a phone, and have a completely different experience. Now you're not only seeing a picture, but you're also smelling what it is like to be in that place.
So I got to take you back again because we're hacking your business. We're hacking.
Absolutely, yeah.
So one of the opportunities you just mentioned, Professor Dunbar, is explain. Okay, now you got sensors in your shoes. So when you walk in the heel and toe, they're already going to know what size shoe you wear,
Right.
what you need to have on your foot, because they've already collected data on when you walking around the house, you working out in the gym, you going about your day-to-day activity. They've been monitoring everything you do, and so when you go in that store, you've already given them access to your profile. They're going to know you even before you even. Oh, hey, Professor Dunbar, had the perfect shoe for you. You go, well, how do you know the perfect shoe? Well, because they've been collecting all that data.
So we
all
know
the
that
time.
how your foot is, where you like stressing, how you walk. So with that information, we can give you the best shoe for you, right? So there's a lot of this data, a lot of sensor data, but there is no one platform that will help sync all this data.
Right.
And for this place where we're collecting it, we're running some processing, and then sending that process data to the cloud for all these great things to happen. So what we are doing is you're laying down the infrastructure to build this, so that different sensors from your shoes, sensors from your glasses, sensors on your shirt can communicate and be stored and be analyzed at one secure place. So it's secure and anonymous. So we're creating the backbone for this. That's what we're doing. Anything to add?
I mean, there's a lot more to add.
Exactly.
Depending on how much detail we want to
I
go
want to go
into.
into. So how we are doing this? We're doing this through the Internet of Things using on-site analytics called edge analytics. Now this is our idea. This is something revolutionary. Because what most firms who are building IoT platforms like us are doing is that they're collecting all this information from your shoe, from your laptop, from your video cameras on the store and everything, and just putting it on the cloud. Now that
What
is
did you call IoT?
IoT, Internet of Things.
Internet of Things.
Internet of Things, and they're putting it on the cloud. We're just dumping it on the cloud. Now this is really
1 second. How familiar with what the cloud is?
Is it for storing?
yeah.
So what the cloud basically is it means that laptop gets sent to the Wi-Fi router, wherever the Wi-Fi router is, and then that Wi-Fi router sends it to a big data server. So somewhere maybe in Washington or Texas or California, your data goes there. And then this is a huge facility that has amazing computational power. They're supercomputers.
Okay.
So that's what the cloud is. It's basically supercomputers,
Okay.
not like remote access supercomputers. So there's some inherent disadvantages to using that kind of a system. For example, you have to send all the data to the cloud. So that takes space on the network. So it costs money to send data from this laptop to the cloud that might be in California. That costs money. And it creates traffic and things like that. So what we're proposing is this idea of edge analytics, which is where you analyze the data near where it's generated. So we have a device. We actually have a working. It collects the data, say from your laptop. 1 second, let me erase it. I think I have it. Yeah. So what it does is it connects to the laptop essentially, and then the data goes from it to here, and then it's analyzed right here.
So you have to send it to it.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
Is this a miniature cloud?
It's basically a miniature
it's
cloud.
basically a miniature cloud. right now we're tailoring this towards businesses. So we want to think of how we can collect and analyze business data. And you can do that with the same thing, like if your employees have smart shoes or your employees like laptops or your office's light bulbs, any of this data can be collected by this device. And our core concept is that it all stays on here. So you don't have it go out to the cloud. And the thing is, if you send the data and it goes to California, it can be intercepted between here. Inherently risky. And businesses don't like that because
also not just
they don't want
that,
their data being stolen.
even if yeah, it can be intercepted. Not only that, also if it's on a cloud, people third party. So suppose everything is on the cloud for Datafy. So employees of Datafy have access to your information, which is sensitive, right? So which you don't want people to know, third party sites to know. Facebook does not want Google to know its information. That's going to be a problem because then Google has one up on Facebook. It's going to look at them and get their own blueprints refined, right? So offices by default don't want to share data. That's why we have edge analytics. It's taking place in your office. It never leaves your office.
And you guys created?
Yeah.
Let me make sure I'm friends with these guys. Oh my goodness.
Right.
Wow.
It's not like, I mean, it's not a completely novel concept.
Right.
More than it's just a concept that hasn't really been developed, and we're working on
We're
developing
working
it.
on developing it.
What is it? Where I store things, I take everything up and I have this little box the size of that, and I download all of it. What is it called? It's everybody has one. It's storage. It's a place where you store my articles or papers.
Oh, your
Hard drive, right?
Flash drive.
Flash drive.
Yeah.
Good. Right. So how is this different from that?
So flash drives don't have, they can't analyze. Flash drives only
I
store
see.
data.
I see.
So this drive that is also kind of like a computer because it can do computation. It can analyze.
So I'll give you an example. Like we collected this information from his house.
Yeah.
And we realized we collected all the email data, like how many emails are being sent. And now we run processing on it, and we got this graph. You know, flash drive is not going to produce graphs. It's just going to keep the data as it is, right? Now our device, we store it, but it also runs analysis on it and created this graph. So we know that this is so we see that Eric has a lot of incoming mails, which is directly proportional to the opportunities we're getting, and these are the amount of emails we're sending to, we're replying to. So there's this void that we have to fill up. So that's value.
Oh yeah.
Right?
So
for a business,
So
maybe.
I'm getting a lot more emails than I respond to. So because of that, I mean, sure, some of them aren't really all that useful emails, but you can tell that, like right here, I sent the least emails when I got the most emails. When I have a whole long list of emails, maybe I'm like, screw this, I'm not gonna respond to any of them.
Right.
And then that's not good because I'm missing opportunities that I could be capitalizing on.
So another thing that we did is when we were working on researching on Datafy and how to like incorporate edge analytics and things, our device was recording, and we came up with this graph. So we know that we know that now that we actually spent 26.3% time on Facebook.
And writing and something like that.
All of this.
Oh.
We actually spent collectively 26.3% of our time on Facebook. That's a lot. And compared to 21.1% of Ask Ubuntu, which was our main work. So we were actually spending more time on Facebook than working. And most people won't even know this. When they look at this,
Until these employers
Yeah,
tap into this.
yeah,
Well, we don't want
employers don't see this.
we want everything to be kept anonymous.
Okay.
So like
Oh, I
if
see.
you as an employee, as an individual, we this for yourself.
I see.
We don't want to show managers this. So we don't want to say, because we're not about micromanagement. We're not about managers looking at each of their employees and saying, hey, you use Facebook too much. Hey, you're on YouTube too much. Hey, you're on Twitter too much. Like, we don't want to say that. What we want to do is we want to give these tools so that I can say, oh, I'm on Facebook too much. My manager doesn't know I'm on Facebook too much, but I know I'm on Facebook too much.
Nice.
But that's why
I can prove my productivity by doing
productivity.
Yeah.
So that's analytics for the employee.
Yeah. That's why I think, but I think that's where you guys are sweet. You are going up against a brick wall when you're trying to target businesses for this. I think the market is in the individual, because I think that again, it's the one thing is Big Brother watching. I mean, we've had this conversation multiple times, and I am going to find more value if you're selling to me that, okay, Dr. Patterson, you need this device because time is how you make your money, and how you spend your time is how you make your money. And we have something that can show you how to improve your productivity and time. And so let us show you our device, and let me show you how it works. And then let us show you how much money you will make or save yourself based on this particular device. Now I got something.
That is more Big Brothers. That's first.
How's it?
B2C.
But how would that be more?
Because we're basically spying on every single house in America.
But
we know when you flush your toilet.
Okay.
We know when you're in your toilet. We know when you're in your house.
But you said that device is mine. But you're saying as a company you want to manage that data.
Data. That's a people. The people in offices are okay to an extent.
Okay.
With information, because when you go for work, you sign a contract saying that whatever I work is the property of the work.
Gotcha.
So there's the people are expected not to watch porn in work. They can do what they want at home.
Right.
But they won't watch porn because they know that someone somewhere could be potentially reading the emails and the thing. So they won't do these things.
Right.
So they're considerably okay. Because they're already pretty monitored. They're like, okay, let's not watch porn on office. Let's not go too much Facebook, you know?
Right.
Facebook.
Yeah. So this is just showing metrics from MVP. This is from instant messaging. This is how much people in a team talk to each other.
So what we did is we just went back and forth on Gmail instant messaging, and we were just like sending messages like back and forth each other, and then this shows like this is just us messaging each other back and forth. And this is meant to be a visualization of how a team talks to each other, how communication within a team or organization is done. You've already seen this, right? Okay.
All right. So that was one thing. And then this is the hypothesized metrics.
So we haven't actually collected this.
This is I haven't collected, but this is what we can show relationships. We can show like online communication with clients, like in terms of email. How is it directly correlated with the number of sales? Here we see that it is directly correlated. So maybe you want to create a culture where people are sending more emails than they are right now. Basically, you know, so you can see it's all anonymous.
Yeah.
So we're just showing trends. We're showing that, hey, if you encourage fitness in your office and better nutrition in your office, people actually take less sick leaves, and that's beneficial for your business. So maybe you should give everyone a free gym subscription to the gym next door, or maybe just get a gym in your office, invest in it, because it's worth it. You know,
or maybe give Fitbits for all your employees.
Yeah.
To help them be more conscious of their workout habits.
And it's compatibility. It's compatible with everything. All platforms, Zigbee, Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, Insteon, and all sensors. So it's very sensor friendly. And with edge analytics, it's scalable to the cloud. It adds an entire level of privacy, at a level of hardware cryptography, and a level of anonymity. And we can only send information to the cloud that you are comfortable with. And if you're not comfortable with the cloud, we can get rid of the cloud entirely. And if you want more processing that cannot be done on this device, then we send some information to the cloud, but only information that you are comfortable with. And so all the processing takes in this device, and very anonymized information is sent to the cloud. So even if somebody hacks the cloud, they won't get shit. They won't be able to understand because it's all processed.
Okay, so it's encrypted.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. Okay.
So
I got to take him to karate.
Okay.
God,
What about you?
this is powerful
I just
stuff.
Good
started,
stuff.
so I'm avoiding it right now, but
This is powerful stuff.
I know. We have to pitch to a lot of investors this week. We also be meeting with Dr. B's wife, Lori, this week, and we're very excited to get her input as well. But we've worked hard on this.
You guys are seniors.
Yes, he's a mechanical. And it's really sad that people really don't see value in what we're doing. They don't.
But that's the opportunity for you.
I know.
It does.
Like as
It's a
Dr.
great
P is facing pushback, we're facing pushback as well because it's disruptive and people don't like it. People want a standard, steady idea
Right.
with real. Show me a startup with real estate. Show me a startup with biotechnology or with drones or with wearables.
Right.
What is this platform shit? Who cares about platform?
Yeah, just make another 3D printing startup.
Just make another 3D printing startup. You know,
Your
indoors.
professors are pushing back to
Yeah. No. Some professors are not. Like Dr.
The
P
professors,
and
we've overwhelmingly have professor support.
who love us.
Idea because they see the value. When we go to these, more like COZAD. Are you familiar with what COZAD is? So it's the student startup competition hosted by U of I, where you pitch your idea and then judges like say, oh, this is a good idea, this is a bad idea. They're like, your idea is crap. And they kicked us out the first round.
First round, they just said to us basically, yeah, your idea is crap. So why? Because they didn't understand it. Like they didn't even care to like understand it more. And
Or was it because your delivery was not good?
that
It
was
could be that too.
that could be too.
Because remember, you immediately got pushed back in here when you brought it, and I immediately get pushed back too. So I think everybody that's heard it, and the more we work on it, your delivery gets.
But is it getting better?
And then people
Did you see
get.
the trend?
Yeah.
Is it getting better?
Yeah, I mean, think about what Dwayne said when he was here. You know, he gave you tons of pushback, but he was like, I get it. He said, this is hot as fire. And so there's no question about, I mean, we're in a cybersecurity environment now.
Right.
And I want to push you guys even more that once you lock this down, other cyber products, you need to be focused on a security base.
Absolutely.
I think that's what the growth is going to be.
Yep.
Big time.
Completely agree with you.
Yeah.
Completely agree with you.
I'll be right there with y'all.
And that's what hardware crypto
Now, you
is.
do this
Yeah.
every Monday?
This is how we do it every Monday. Yeah, because now, so this is where we prepare for actually class for Wednesday.
Right.
So they're part of my development team for class. To deliver
Right.
to have students part of the team to develop the content.
Right.
So now the other students have to go through this process for their businesses. We're going to hack their businesses. So this is
What does
all
the
about
term hack mean? I
Did what-
understood
what we
hack.
exactly what we just did. Yeah, but we go right. It's like think about chopping wood. You get down to the core of why things exist. You're breaking it down. You're chopping it up.
It's like talking through
Yeah.
and coming up with ideas.
Yes.
So like hacking means like it's like getting your thoughts out there
Okay.
and like thinking how you can make it better.
Yeah.
So we got our thoughts out here, and it's a little more clear in our mind now
Yeah.
what this is because we did this. So what we are doing now is we're having so everybody in the class either has an idea. So like one of the students has already a pretty successful startup that's already got accepted to like this accelerator and stuff.
Yeah.
So what we do is we have them hack their idea by thinking about the business model. How will their idea or startup be a business?
Yes.
So like we did this for the class. Now we want to have each student do it for their venture. So we already have our business model done. We're going to refine it. And then other students that haven't done this yet will be doing this for the first time.
So that's where the value comes in when we start thinking about this from a STEM education perspective. If what if we and this somehow want to hack with you guys? So like for example, we come back and we say, okay, let's do the same process, the same business proposition model. Is business proposition model?
Business canvas model.
Business model canvas.
Business model
BMC.
canvas. Okay, the BMC. So how do we do that from an academic perspective for students? How do they map out why it's important to get an education and what can it do for them, right?
Right.
And then we have that's to become their plan
Right.
for how they move to the next phase, and then they can mind know what they're doing, and then teachers get equipped. I told you I got the teacher training coming up here in a couple weeks, and I'm gonna sit them right in here, and we're gonna do exactly this. I might even have you guys that help me with the training on that, because I think it's incredible. I think what we're learning here is transferable. It's incredible.
Let me get a.
Now, what's your schedule tomorrow?
It's probably good.
Okay.
Because I need to walk you through the kinds of stuff that we need to have that you can.
Absolutely. So why don't I send you an email later on?
Okay.
And see what your schedule's like.
Okay.
And, so tomorrow.
That's good.
Okay.
Oh man, I know I'm gonna see you guys in Black Enterprise or something. You know anything about that magazine? Black Enterprise?
No, not really.
Oh, well, it was back in the '60s. I think
It's still rolling.
exists.
It's still rolling.
And it was African Americans who had ideas and business things and all that. But it goes back to, my gosh, mid '60s, '70s.
Yes, they're probably around for a bit. But they got some tech stuff they're doing. But that's why it's important for things like Black Enterprise, but even Johnson Publishing Company.
Yes.
Both these historical businesses, they got to be in line with the millennials in regards to what they're doing and developing within the context of hip-hop generations.
Well, I want to make it next Monday.
Every Monday.
Yeah, please do.
I tell you,
Almost here.
this is you got to lock this in your calendar. This is what we do. This is what I do every Monday. Yeah.
You just blew me away.
This is the Ghetto Jeans paradigm, Delmar.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
This is
I know.
Yeah.
Good guys, I'll see you
The
guys
value
later
offer.
next
Thank you.
week. Pleasure.
Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
pleasure.
We'll talk. Okay.
Thank you. So, sorry.
No, you good. No, this is great. You guys have just introduced.
This will be really good for
Yeah,
the startup. That's why we.
I am totally excited about this.
Yeah.
So I'm going to take this same piece and I'm going to reshape it for academic material. But
Yeah.
I think we should write in there, and maybe it's already on that sheet, what people should put in those boxes. You know, how to give them some lead.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are there's a different it's like the same titles, but they have questions underneath.
Yes.
So there'll be like 3 questions per
Gotcha.
box, and it says like value proposition. It asks like, what value do you offer your customer? Like what value can you offer your customers in the
Yes.
future, or something like that.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Dr. P.
Yes.
Honestly,
Yeah.
is our pitch getting better or is it getting worse?
Oh no, you heard what I said. I'm not bullshitting. Yeah, you're much better. I think again, you want to get it. It has to be so spot on that it makes sense as soon as it comes out of your mouth.
Yeah.
That's how good it has to be.
Right. It's still not there.
It's not there. No, we're hacking it down. I think Lori Patterson's gonna help you get there.
Yeah.
You know, so but the exercises she gives you, and we can hack it every Monday. You know.
Yeah.
until we get
I
this.
want to get it like so good that everybody gets it.
Yeah.
Because this is
Because we can get this down. Okay, that's the value proposition for the class.
right.
And if we can get this hammered down
Right.
within the context of, and maybe we might want to use the same model and maybe look at or maybe Rush Communication, where Russell Simmons started, and then we can kind of see how it's transferable,
Right.
right? And then we can then kind of show, I love this thing.
I can
It's
see that.
incredible.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
The major pushback that we face, I think, is people don't know what IoT is.
Right, exactly.
People don't know what
Okay,
analytics is.
so let me say something about that. I think because this is your world within the context of how
Exactly.
you do things, you just say it like it's no thing.
Right.
Everybody gets, okay, let's go backwards.
Yeah, I even kind of like started talking about the cloud, and then I'm
Yeah,
like, wait,
wait a
does he know what the
And I
cloud
was
is?
gonna say, I'm glad you
And then I
said
started
that.
thinking,
Yeah.
does he even know what the cloud
That
is?
is right.
Like,
Exactly.
It seems like to us.
So you're talking about a professor with his son, a family with major resources
Right.
that still are not in the mix.
Next.
In
Yes.
terms of understanding what this is and how it impacts their world. And so if we know, and he's university
So-
affiliated, so we know that if folks aren't getting it within the
Then
university environment, folks that are not in the university environment, they really,
definitely don't get
So
it.
you know,
maybe that's just as a sign I should stop. Like if we're pitching it to somebody with like expertise, we can use Internet of Things. But if we're pitching it to people that don't really have that background, maybe we should things is.
I was about to say that one of the things I think that part of what you want to do is educate your population,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
It's
So
just important.
I think we should can you
Value
write this down
proposition.
in your handy dandy notebook?
Yeah,
Is that something
I
that
just
we
grabbed
do we write, do we put educate, what's the channels, learning hip hop history. The value is learning how, value proposition, learning how to, well, let's see, activities, resources, cost structure, account, customer relationships, customer segments, channels, and such. I think it's proposition is learning how to educate and be educated, educate and be educated and be educated by your consumer, right?
Yep.
Important. That is so important.
Yeah.
Because that's what mixtapes and CDs. The store on the corner still exists around the corner.
Right.
There was no other store. There was one other store that sold mixtapes and hip hop stuff, but they weren't in the business of selling mixtapes and CDs.
Right.
There was a specific culture
Right.
based on that.
Right.
But and so I had to create the market for that to happen.
Right.
Which means I need to learn from my consumer base on how they bought music,
Right.
what the intro code, and then what I learned in that clientele were what we call backpack hip hoppers. They were East Coast related. They were conscientious hip hoppers. They wanted music that said something within the context of from an educated mass, if you will.
Mhm.
My community base for the music buyers were straight gangster rap. They were
Right.
Master P. They were No Limit Records. They were Swab House. They were Ghetto Boys.
Mhm.
They were Stoop Dog. They were anything that was more that was community based within that. Each one of those markets worked.
Right.
Where I found out my best money was in the ghetto market or in the gangster rap market. And so I had to channel my sales within that particular context. And even though I love conscientious hip hop and backpack hip hop, if you will, it wasn't making the money that
Right.
the gangster rap was. That was more community, more what I call working class MC based.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. All right. I see that. Thank you. So, clearly define what Internet of Things is.
I agree.
So, Eric,
Yeah.
could you
I
get that
already
right?
have it.
So define what Internet of Things, cloud computing, and edge analytics is.
That's literally what I wrote down.
Oh, wow, that's awesome, dude. IoT, cloud, and edge. Yeah, that's really awesome.
I mean, those are the three terms that would be most confusing to people.
Most
so.
confusing to people. Wow, dude, you think alike. Because I was going to say that. Exactly. That's great. Awesome.
Yes. Yeah, I definitely see like hip hop knows how to educate their population.
Yes.
Because like when you have like music videos showing how you dance to the song,
Right.
you're teaching the people
Right.
how to dance to that song.
Exactly.
When you bring dancers up on stage,
Right.
you're showing the crowd how they should dance to the music.
Some music, right. Right.
Like it's actually a really cool idea.
Professor, you know, I have nightmares and I'm going to die of passion someday. I'm going to get a heart attack because I have so many ideas.
Right,
And like,
sure.
oh, I can do this, you can do this, you can do this.
But that's it's good. Passion sometimes can be very frustrating because you want to experience what you know to be what you're feeling,
Yeah.
right? And then, so you do everything in your power to make that happen. Right? And sometimes it don't happen as fast
Yes,
as we
that's,
like, or the way that we want it to
I
happen.
know,
And that becomes part of the process too.
Yeah.
Learning how to
Patience.
get the patience,
I don't have that.
to discover the passion, and experience the passion that you're seeking. All right.
I don't have that.
There's a lot. There's a
That's
lot
a
of
problem
that.
for me.
Yeah.
That's why Eric company.
Say, Eric is the coolest.
He's very passionate.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
very passionate.
He's very
and
patient
patient.
though. He's
I
very
understand it takes time.
Patience is key.
He's like more chill about it. I'm like, no, I want to.
Yes, yeah. But you have to have a yin
You
and
gotta-
yang.
Yeah,
I
he
think that-
drives us. I'm a little bit more passive.
Sure.
He's a little more drive.
Okay.
He drives us forward.
Right.
Like, no, dude, you have to do this.
Yeah.
You know?
And I
So
keep
you're gonna
him-
run the car until it drops, but you're gonna fix it.
But I keep the motivation.
Right.
I keep the motivation up there.
Sure.
She's like, go,
Yeah,
stop.
yeah.
And I'm like, dude, you gotta keep going,
Yeah,
go.
yeah,
And
yeah.
stop.
Yeah, it's kind of like that.
I'm
It's
sorry,
like
gotta
it's like
keep
100-meter
going.
dash. I'm like,
Right,
and he's
right.
like, dude, no, it's a marathon. Relax. And then try again.
It is a marathon. That's absolutely right.
Uh,
So it's the blend of the two. You gotta have both.
No, that's that.
We are a great team.
And we are a
We're
great
very
team
similar
and
and very different. At the
very
same
different
time.
at the same time, and that's why I want to showcase
Yeah.
to our investors.
Okay.
Because what's the most important? He's a mechanical engineer, so he's going to see problems from a different angle. I'm going to see problems from a different angle
Sure.
from computer science, but we are also like genius. The dynamic is so great. You should invest in us.
So then that's exactly. So, but again, we want to demonstrate and have examples where we're talking about that in particular, right? And we're able to provide that particular experience.
But is it not clear when I'm pitching? Like when I'm pitching and I get stuck and then Eric jumps in?
I think that
Does
again,
it show
I think,
that complementary?
well, I think that's where you want to. That's where you have to find balance, because you don't want to oversell your product because with a lot of hype. You want to speak specific based on analytics and things that are matter of fact. And that's what the strength is. We can talk about, yes, it's going to be the next big thing. A lot of people say that, but when you talk about an investor, if I'm spending my money, I want to invest in it basically what I consider a sure thing. Like, I want to give you this money because I expect a great return on my investment in you, without all the hype. Show me what your product can do and then how it's going to deliver. It's like another story. Had a guy, friend of mine in the music business, wanted me to invest in his promotion company. I'm a real estate investor.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, is that at one time in my life, I was into the idea of having, this space exists here with the idea of a recording studio, getting artists in here to record,
Right.
And then out the door. I've made more money in real estate because it's a sure thing for me to paint a wall, clean up a property, make certain it's heated, it's good, and know that there's a buyer out there that wants to rent the space. And then I get a return on that particular investment. That's a sure thing. Whereas if I go invest in this promotion company, we hope that you can throw a show, that people are going to show up, because and remember, because the show is not a necessity. It's something that people, if they have disposable income, they may want to do with their money if you sell it right, if the product that you're selling right. There's a lot of variables in there that dictate whether it's going to be successful or not. So where am I willing to put the risk? Put the risk over here. It's tried and true on a monthly basis, as opposed to the hype over here where it'd be one-time things. Now, once you get going, you may be all right, but I know this is going to be a sure thing every time.
Sure, but that's the thing. That's when this community and champion is too mature.
Okay.
So because they want 100% guarantee that it's coming.
Okay.
And what we are doing is we're saying we have a niche in metrics.
Yes.
We have a niche right now. But we see a bigger picture.
Right.
It could be for the entire platform.
Right.
And then when people hear that, they might be like,
But see,
too big.
Okay, well, think about what you just did. You just gave me a whole lot of hype. You gave me a lot of this, a lot of cheerleading.
yeah. What's wrong with that though?
Because a lot of people think you're trying to juice them up, right? It sounds like you're like a.
You're a salesman.
You ain't trying to be. You don't have to sell your stuff. All you have to do is talk about it. See, you had a very casual conversation with Professor Dunbar about what your product was, and it blew him away.
Yeah, right. We try to
And
sell it.
you
Like,
educate. Yeah.
defensive.
You sold it to him by educating him on the product.
Oh, so when I go like this,
Yeah.
become people who are
That
defensive.
and the hype, you gotta do all that.
I see.
The most important thing that you have, that we know is coming down the pipe, and I knew it when I first heard about the Internet of Things, and then I started researching it, and then I started making sense. Like, wow, okay. And I said and have shared with folks that, okay, everybody wants access to our data. These networks exist because we use them. If we don't use the networks, then they don't make money. So they want to do everything they can to move your data, and they're going to use that data for a particular thing. They may not be charging you up front the way you see it, but they're juicing you, and Facebook is juicing you because they're collecting data on everything you do because you're giving them the content. You're giving them your whole life. And then they monetize it. Figure out how to monetize it, right?
Completely true.
So again, part of your sales strategy is to educate people on the trends that are happening, number one, in terms of such as the Internet of Things and how that's going to impact their life. That's number one. But And is there a sweet spot for them to also find value? Because I'm like this, it's kind of like, if the University of Illinois is investing in international students, then I'm going to, as a professor, then I need to be thinking about that too, because that's where the growth margin is at. Which means I have to make certain that I have to be palatable to students that are coming from a different environment that may be interested in what I have to sell. Otherwise, there's no use for me in the academy, right? Because it's not making them any money, right? So ultimately, I'm betting that on an international scale, hip hop, that they're familiar with the ideas of hip hop and what it is.
Right.
And then if they appreciate who a Dr. Dre is, a Jay-Z, a P. Diddy, a Beyonce, then these are the hyper images that are out there. Can they, in their own realm, that these folks have done? And my answer is always absolutely they can, because these people come from some very similar backgrounds in some instances, right? So your strength for your business is to know, first of all, what you're selling, to speak to people in layman's terms, in terms of just making it very simple, not from an academic, your experience perspective, but from your informed position on, okay, here you guys, here's what's coming down the pipe. We decided to start a cybersecurity, and here are some opportunities we see for growth and monetization. Boom.
Right.
And that's why we would like to, but in order to make this happen, we're going to need this type of capital to do X, Y, and Z. And if you see the value in this right now, then we want to guarantee that with options to blah, blah, blah. I don't know. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
If that makes sense.
So does this make sense? We will have these concepts of IoT, cloud, and edge analytics very clear in our mind tomorrow.
Okay.
And I will keep my passion down. Not hype it.
Yeah, you don't need to hype it.
So I'll be more relaxed.
The best sales,
and just
Yeah.
best sales
Like you
person
said,
is
play
who
on
doesn't
it.
know
Yeah.
that you're
the
selling.
best sales is hidden.
Is
Yeah.
it?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I'll not be that
This
guy.
is not hidden.
All right.
This is
I mean,
obvious.
I'm not trying to sell. This is just my passion, but I will.
Right. So you have to learn how to taper down your passion, because you don't want to come off as a used car salesman or a shiny suit salesman.
Right.
You want to come down as a person that has a successful one of startups coming up out of it and being very successful.
Yeah.
And so that is always on your side.
Right.
That number one. And then you want to then be able to demonstrate why an opportunity like this is that's forthcoming, that's coming, and we're seeing spikes happening now that is coming together. And here's a great time for you guys to get in on the ground floor when we see a booming opportunity in these areas.
Yeah, that's awesome. We can convey that.
Okay.
Thank you so much for your input,
Absolutely.
Professor.
All
That's
right.
going to help us a lot.
All right, that's the hack for today.
Yeah,
That'll be
awesome.
his hack. Okay, cool. And now you guys we have to deliver this to the students on Wednesday.
Yeah.
Okay. And I think I need to get that. Before or have it ready, and so we can just have it come in and hack it. Like I want to hack. That's the next piece, is that we're going to hack everybody's business. You guys already have Lean Startup?
Yes.
Book? Okay.
Yeah, got the ebook.
Okay, cool.
Already read it. I'll read it again.
So,
It's like one of the first books I read before I even got into entrepreneurship.
oh, cool.
So it'd be cool to go back through it
See what it
again
said. Yeah.
and see like through like all my experience I've had now,
Yes.
what it means.